Kingdom fungi. The fungi constitute a unique kingdom of heterotrophic organisms. They show a great diversity in morphology and habitat. You must have seen fungi on a moist bread and rotten fruits. The common mushroom you eat and toadstool are also fungi. White spots seen on mustard leaves are due to parasitic fungus. Some unicellular fungi, yeast, are used to make bread and beer. Other fungi can cause disease in plants and animals. Wheat rust causing Puccinia is an important example. Some are the source of antibiotics. Penicillium fungi are cosmopolitan and occur in air, water, soil, and on animals and plants. They prefer to grow in warm and humid places. Have you ever wondered why we keep food in the refrigerator? Yes, it is to prevent food from going bad due to the bacterial or fungal infections. With the exceptions of yeast, which are unicellular, fungi are filamentous. Their bodies consist of long cylinder thread-like structures called hyphae. The network of hyphae is known as mycelium. Some hyphae are continuous tubes filled with multinucleated cytoplasm. These are called sinocytic hyphae. Others have septate or cross walls in their hyphae. The cell walls of fungi are composed of chitin and polysaccharides. Most fungi are heterotrophic and absorb soluble organic matter from dead substrates and hence are called saprophytes. Those that depend on living plants and animals are called parasites. They can also live as symbionts in association with algae as lichens and with roots of higher plants as mycorrhiza. Reproduction in fungi can take place by vegetative means, fragmentation, fission, and budding. Asexual reproduction is by spores called conidia or sporangiospores or zoospores. The sexual reproduction is by oospores, ascospores, and basidiospores. The various spores are produced in the distinct structure called fruiting bodies. The sexual cycle involves the following three steps. Fusion of protoplasm between two motile or non-motile gametes is called plasmogamy. Fusion of two nuclei called karyogamy. Meiosis in zygote resulting in haploid spores. When the fungus reproduces sexually, two haploid hyphae of compatible mating types come together and fuse. In some fungi, the fusion of two haploid cells immediately results in diploid cells 2N. However, in other fungi, Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes, an intervening dikaryotic stage N plus N, two nuclei per cell occurs. Such a condition is called a dikaryon, and the phase is called dikaryophase of fungus. Later, the parental nuclei fuse and the cells become diploid. The fungi form fruiting bodies in which reduction division occurs, leading to formation of haploid spores. The morphology of mycelium, mode of spore formation, and fruiting bodies forms the basis of the division of kingdom into various classes. Phycomycetes. Members of Phycomycetes are found in aquatic habitat and on decaying wood in moist and damp places or as obligate parasites on plants. The mycelium is aseptate and cynocytic. Asexual reproduction takes place by zoospores, motile, or by aplanospores, non-motile. These spores are endogenously produced in the sporangium. A zygospore is formed by fusion of two gametes. These gametes are similar in morphology, isogamous, or dissimilar, anisogamous or oogamous. Some common examples are mucor, Rhizopus, the braid mold mentioned earlier, and albugo, the parasitic fungi on mustard. Ascomycetes, commonly known as sac fungi. The ascomycetes are mostly multicellular penicillium or rarely unicellular yeast Saccharomyces. They are saprophytic decomposers, parasitic or coprophilous growing on dung. Mycelium is branched and septate. The asexual spores are conidia produced exogenously on the spatial mycelium called conidiophores. Conidia on germination produce mycelium. Sexual spores are called ascospores, which are produced endogenously in a sac-like asci, singular ascus. These asci are arranged in different type of fruiting bodies called ascospores. Some examples are aspergillus, claviceps, and neurospora. Neurospora are used extensively in biochemical and genetic work. Many members like morus and truffles are edible and are considered delicious. Basidiomycetes, commonly known form of Basidiomycetes are mushrooms, bracket fungi, or puffball. They grow in soil, on log and tree stumps, and in living plant bodies as parasites. Rust and smut. are examples of basidiomycetes. The mycelium is branched and septate. In the asexual spores are generally not found, but vegetative reproduction by fragmentation is common. The sex organs are absent, but plasmogamy is brought about by fusion of two vegetative or somatic cells of different strains or genotypes. The resultant structure is dikaryotic, which ultimately gives rise to basidium. Karyogamy and meiosis take place in the basidium, producing four basidiospores. The basidiospores are exogenously produced on the basidium, plural basidia. The basidia are arranged in fruiting bodies called basidiocarps. Some common members are agaricus, mushroom, Astrilago smut, and Puccinia rust fungus. Deuteromycetes, commonly known as imperfect fungi because only the asexual or vegetative phase of these fungi are known. When the sexual form of these fungi are dis- when the sexual form of these fungi were discovered, they were moved into the classes they rightly belong to. It is also possible that the asexual and vegetative phases have been given one name and placed under Deuteromycetes, and the sexual stage another, and placed under another class. Later, when the linkages were established, the fungi were correctly identified and moved out of the Deuteromycetes. Once perfect sexual stage of the member of Deuteromycetes were discovered, they were often moved to Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes. The Deuteromycetes reproduce only by asexual spores known as conidia. The mycelium is septate and branched. Some members of some members are saprophytes or parasites, while a large number of them are decomposers of litter and help in mineral cycling. Some examples are Alternaria, Coletotrichum, and Trichoderma. Thank you.